Hi, I'm Vinny,
I'm Tina.
and this is our story.
Me and Vinny met in our early 20s. Unfortunately, very quickly, it led to addiction. And when we got pregnant with our first daughter, we decided things need to change. We found recovery, and that ultimately led us to God.
You know, we looked at our local church that we would go to, and coming out of a life of addiction, we went there with a lot of hope. And instead, we were just really let down, by the condemnation that we felt. And the next couple weeks, the only thing we got from that church was like clockwork, a box of envelopes.
Month after month, not
month
a phone
after
call.
month. Yeah, we'd come to the house.
Nothing.
And I just remember looking at those envelopes, feeling like all they want is our money. They don't care about us. Fortunately, we had some really good friends that are still great friends today that had said to us, like, hey, why don't, you check out this church? And that's what kind of set our journey forward.
We felt welcomed, like a totally different experience than what we experienced from the previous church we went to.
Yeah. I came from a life where fast money was a way of life. So when we decided to make some life change, I was very limited in options in terms of career paths to take. And someone had suggested the car business. And I was like, hey, it doesn't sound so bad. And in that role, I found that when I was doing well, I felt good. And when I was, not making money, I felt terrible. And I had a good friend of mine, and he said, Vin, it sounds to me like money's your God. And I remember I was just so offended, because I remember thinking, who is he to say that to me? And I think where it really struck a chord so much is when I knew he was right. I think I really started to really want to pursue God in a different way, and I really wanted to start to let go of what I felt like I found my worth in, and really find out who I was to be the man that I could be called to be to lead my family. When we started to really go on this journey together, I remember there was a time where we didn't have any money, and I was in this very pivotal stage of what am I doing? I'm trying to do the right thing, and here I am. I'm literally penniless, and it's because I'm working. I know how I can fix this situation, but God, you're taking me on a different path, and I'm trusting you. And Ian, my friend that's the pastor, he said, hey man, I can see something's wrong. What's going on? I said, dude, my lights are getting turned off tomorrow, and I don't know what to do. I got kids, I got, I'm broke, man. I don't know how to ask for help. He said, I've seen all that you're doing. You'd be a blessing to this church to see someone change their life. And he did. He paid for our electric bill. I remember from there, it was one of those faith moments where I was like, wow, God, you showed up. And so we started this mode of hey, we're just going to take what we need to live. And other than that, we're just going to be, giving people what we had that was above what we needed, we were willing to give.
I'll never forget this one time. He wanted to stop at the ATM and take out the last $40 that we had. And I wasn't where he was at that time. I was nervous. I was scared. I'm like, how, this is all we have to us. And he's like, we have food. You have gas for work for the week. I really want to do this.
Yeah, so we'll be okay.
That's where my faith grew, because after giving that, we were okay.
So Tina and I started talking about, what if we moved somewhere nice? We were living in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And so I had this thing in my heart where it was I would pray and God would say, well, just go, I have something for you. Mm-hmm. And we moved to Florida. We didn't know anyone, didn't have really a job.
Nope.
Just knew that God said hey, just go, I have something for you. Mm-hmm. The first place I worked in Florida, I remember working in this call room, and they were doing some phone room stuff that I just kind of sniffed out after a couple weeks. And I wanted to be able to lay my head on a pillow at night and not have anything that I could question about how I was acting throughout the day. I came home, hey Tina, I quit my job today. She was like, what?
What? What are we gonna do? We have no money, nothing.
And just like before, I told her it'll be okay.
It'll be fine, don't worry.
It'll be okay, God's got us.
Yeah, God didn't bring us down here for no reason.
But I feel like God was really working on both of us, because then we started to find community. We started to find people that we were connecting with. That's where things really started to turn for us. Fast forward, I started a business 6 years ago, and God has really shown us a lot of favor in terms of business and growth. It's really just been an incredible journey. Mm-hmm. And so it's strange, because we were talking about this recently, and we had this period where we had nothing and we were willing to give everything. And then it's as we were sort of blessed and God started to show us favor, it's almost like it kind of lost priority. Like we still felt inclined to do that, but we wanted to kind of like do it on our terms, not necessarily God's terms. I would almost hear him say like, well done, my good and faithful servant, but you're not doing this. And I always thought about like the church sending those boxes of envelopes, and I'm like, you don't really need my money. But God wasn't after my wallet, even though that's where he was like reaching, but he was after my heart. We made a decision to not only start giving from that point forward, but we actually went back, through this year and the year prior and looked at everything that we were short on in terms of what we were giving, and then made that donation to the church. I mean, I'm just consistently blown away by taking these small steps to like honor God that may seem big, but those impacts are just so worth it. I don't know why we're so lucky to be chosen to be a part of such a wonderful community, a part of God's family, and pulled out of the depths of despair. I think like that's really kind of the craziest thing, because I mean, from
our old life to now, like, doesn't even make sense.
Yeah,